database customer info, which you can see here. So I'm going to a table, create table, and the name of the table is customer. So I'm using this first sheet here to create my first table. So I open a parenthesis, I hit enter, and then I can fill up the space now. So the first one is customer ID. So I'm just going to use ID, and then I'm going to use the data type. So this is a number, so I'm just going to use int, comma. The next one is first name. I'm just going to say first name. Okay, and then the data, I'm hearing a background noise, and then I could take a variable data type for that, and because this is a character, I could use char or varchar. So I'm just going to use varchar. So we know that varchar takes about 32,000 characters, right? But I'm just going to use like 200 here. No matter how long your first name is, it can never be 200.
Is that not too much?
Yeah, I know it's too much, but let's just say 50. So let's say last name, varchar 52. And then up next we have gender. Gender should be like 6 characters long. I mean the longest anyway. Female, male, right? Unless you want to put transgender anyway. So we use,
you can use 1 now. MF.
Yeah, but then that means we have to like delete all this female, male that is there. So let's just use 6.
Okay. We're following this one. Okay.
And for city, varchar again. Let's say 50. And country, is varchar, and it's 50. So now that everything is done, I want to run this.
What about the comma at the end?
No, there's no comma. This is the last
one. There will be no comma since the last one.
So I'm just going to put that column right there. And I'm going to just highlight this because I don't want to just click run. If I click run, it's going to start from the top and then straight to the bottom. So I only want it to run this table for me, this create table. So I'm just going to highlight everything like this, and then I'm going to click run. Okay, so now it's telling me that I have a user. I've already created a database before, and right now my active database, if you can see this, is customer order details. So after creating this database, I'm supposed to use the database for SQL to make it active. So because I didn't use it, it's just picking a random database, or the last one I used as the default. So I'm just going to change that now. I'm just going to say use, and then the name of the database, customer info. So this is going to make this the current database. So use customer info makes this the current database, or the present working database. So if I run this now, at the moment I don't have any database here. So if I do select everything from sys.tables, now look at this. Right now I don't have any, can you see? I don't have any table here. But if I run this now, command complete successfully. And if I come back and run this now, you see now a customer table has been created inside this database. Okay, so now that we have created this this table, let's insert value in there. So I'm just going to name this. Sorry?
Okay, matter is that value. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going. Okay, man.
How did you run it now?
I just highlighted it. I just highlighted and click on run. But for you highlight and click on execute.
Yes.
So if I want to run
what about the...
Do we have the remaining data below this thing?
Do you have what?
Do we have the remaining data below this number one? Or it's just the number one percent?
I don't understand what you have. No, we don't have any other data. It's just this customer table.
What about the rest?
Which rest? Which one are you talking about?
So where did you get it? Where did you get the data from?
Now this one, I'm saying read the table info in the active database. I'm saying tell me the tables that we have in this active database, and this is just the only table that we have, customer, and I just created it now using this command here. So when I finished typing this, I highlighted this and I executed this. Immediately I did that, I came here to check the table that we have in that database, and it was already added. Initially I had nothing, I had no table there, but immediately I ran this and I came back and ran this again, I had this customer table inside that. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Alright, can I proceed now?
Yeah, sure.
So now you can see that this customer has been created. I can create every other one like that too. If I want to create the others table, I could also create that in that format. So what do? I'll just come here and say create table, and then the name of the table, but I don't want to create that yet. Let's insert values. So let's say insert value, so we want to insert value into this table. So how do we do that? We do insert into the name of the table, customer. So this insert into is a keyword. If you can see, it's highlighted purple. So insert into, and then you now specify the column that you want to insert. So I want to insert this ID, comma, first name, comma, last name, gender, city, country. So these are the columns I want to insert, and then the values that I want to insert. So I'm just going to come right here and highlight these first few rows, maybe the first three. I'm just going to copy that and paste that here. So I have these three now, so I need to enclose this in parentheses. So this is where the whole work is.
Which key are you using to put them this thing?
So I have this Excel data that we use for Excel. I'm going to share us that data. But if you go through the blog post I shared, you see the link to download the data there.
No, I mean, what are you using to put them in quotes?
What I'm using, this is a single quotation. What I'm using, I'm just highlighting them and I'm clicking what's it called, the quotes key.
Which key?
Ensure it's just right beside the enter key.
Yeah, but you're doing the two at the same time now.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking to.
Which one? I don't know if the option is enabled
Yeah.
for Windows, but let's see. Just hold on, let me run this. But for you, you have to do something like this. This is what you have to do. You do one
Yeah.
first, and you come back and do this one. Right?
So how can we do everything at once?
Yeah. So now if I run this now, so if you look at the data type now, if you look at the data type, you see that int does not need any of this quotation. So I didn't put any quotation around int, but if you put it, it will still work anyway. So but the one for character, I had to enclose that. Okay, so if I run this now, this,
There's supposed to be comma
where
after female.
there's a comma, see, before New York.
Okay.
So you will know if there's an error if you get these small coily lines at the this thing, at any of the points here. So if you look at if you can see what I can see now, you see that I have 3 rows affected. So if I print the records from this table now, you see, select everything from customer. If I run this now, you can see I have 101, 1002, 1003. Can you see? So I want to show you a bug. I just created a bug. I did it on purpose anyway. So if I run this again, it's going to tell me 3 rows affected. If I run this again, that's like 9 rows, right? So if I click this, if I run this again, now I have 9 records, and they are all what? Duplicates. They are all occurring like 3 times. But do I really want that? No, I don't want to have duplicate customer, because I only want one customer to have what? One ID. I don't want to have multiple customers appearing like this. This is redundancy, and it can become very difficult for you cleaning this kind of data. So you need to write your database schema in such a way that it does not accept duplicates. So that means that we need to make changes to this. So how do we do that? Because I know that the unique identifier for each customer, we can have more than one customer bear the same first name and last name. I used to have someone in my secondary school, a junior anyway, bear my first name, my last name, and my third name. So you can have a customer bear the same first name and last name, but you can never have 2 customers have the same ID. So we need to make sure that we make this ID in such a way that it doesn't take in duplicates. So how do we do that? So after putting in the data type, we want to tell SQL that this should be the primary key. So what do I mean? What does primary key mean? Primary key is a constraint that tells SQL that you don't want you don't want a duplicate value for this column. Now before I fix that, I also want to show us something. If I decide to remove country from here for any reason, I forgot to put it, and now I run this, I remove country. This one now is supposed to be what? City, right? I remove this country again, and I remove this country also. Do you know that this is still going to work? If I run this now, 3 rows affected, and if I read this table again, now I'm having no values for those countries that I did not put there. So what I did here is that I said that you should only put in ID, first name, last name, gender, and city, and it's accepted that. But I've forgotten, or don't forget, that I also have what? Country. So I didn't put in any value for country, and it still accepted it. Moving forward, I don't want it to accept records that are not complete. So I need to come here and do something called not null. I need to add not null to this. So not null ensures that the value is being added before the record is updated in the table. So I'm just going to add not null. So you can, at no point, so this is not only peculiar to country, I can decide to also not add a few other things here. If I remove this male here and a couple of other things, this will still work. So I don't want any of these values to come out as a null value. So if I do this now, and I also add in a primary key which ensures that I don't have duplicate ID. I also want to make this not null. But wait, I just edited this table now. If I run this now, I'm going to get an error. There is already an object named customer in the database. So which brings me to the next thing I want to talk about, which is called alter. But for a second, I'm going to drop this table. I'm going to recreate it, and you're going to see the changes. So drop table, and then the name of the table, customer. So I could use alter for this same thing, but I'm not going to use it yet because I want you to understand the concept. So this table has been deleted now, and I can recreate it again, and this time without adding country. Now if I run this thing, I'm going to have an error. So now let's see. Cannot insert null for country. Table customer info dot customer column does not allow nulls, insert fields. So this is not accepting the values because I already told you that I did not want what? No values for any of those columns. And because I did not put in any value for country, it rejected it and said that the values I tried to insert are not complete. That I should ensure that I insert all the fields correctly. So I'm just going to go back to this, and then Japan, USA, and Brazil. I'm just going to choose that. Japan, USA, and Brazil. So if I run this now, I also need to include country here. You can see now all the red all the red stuffs here, they vanished. So if I run this now, 3 rows affected, and if I run this now, you see that everything is now in order. So now the same error I made the other time, running the code again. Let me run it in code again, and you see that I'm going to get an error. Violation of primary key constraints, PK customer and all of that. Cannot insert duplicate key in object DBO customer. The duplicate key is 10001, which is this one. If I remove this and I run it again, it's going to highlight it. So it's trying to run it from the top, and it's saying this particular one is a duplicate. It cannot take it. And then next is going to pick this, and then next is going to pick this. So this is to tell me that my table is now in its right shape, and I can go ahead now and insert value. So at the moment, I'm going to task us with the responsibility of inserting all the 150 records that we have in this table before our next meeting. So I'm going to attach the link to get the data so that you can easily download that and insert the files here. Okay.